won't you give me a call? We'll ride on those waves again. California sun. And I can wait through a storm, 'cause without you it wouldn't be the same. Last night I was dreaming out loud. California sun was making my eyes dry. Can we still make it happen? It's worth a try. Oh, and I might keep on dreaming out loud. It's a beautiful life, staying under blue skies. And next year in the winter, let's give it a try. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight. Yeah, I'll be dreaming out loud tonight. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight.
The goal is not to win. Winning you cannot control. The goal is not to be number one in the world. You cannot control being number one in the world. But what you can control is your focus. What you can't control is your determination, is your concentration, is your discipline. If you're more prepared than your opponent and you raise the stakes, you expose their lack of preparation. But you can't fabricate this. You have to earn it. And you earn it by doing everything better than they do. Focusing on all these things is what gives you confidence. Being able to look in the mirror and believe it is confidence. Just acting as if the world revolves around you is ignorant.
Welcome back to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. We've got an incredible show for you today. I want to encourage you as I go through the training, and you're going to see what you're going to learn on today's show. Make sure that you're putting in questions in the chat. All right. That's what's going to keep the energy. That's what's going to make sure that there is no excuses to go and take massive imperfect action to find a deal this week. So this is last year I was approached by Rich Dad Poor Dad, the company Rich Dad Poor Dad, to put together a course for teaching people how to wholesale real estate, how to find their first deals, how to build build a $1 million business essentially from wholesaling deals, right? And then they switched their strategies in 2025. They really wanted to focus on the book and on the board games. And so here we are. I'm gonna go through the course that I put together for Rich Dad Poor Dad on how to build to do your first $1 million in real estate, right? And that's actual earned income. That's not like, oh, this is the money that you get, or this is the net worth that you have increased because you bought a good deal, and now it's worth 250. You bought it for 200,000. You have all this equity. No, I'm talking about real earned active income. Okay, so strap in, make sure that you're taking down notes, make sure that you watch this over and over again so you get all the foundational, all the fundamental instruction that you need to be able to go and find some really great deals. All right. Daniel, best skip tracing service. And I'm going to just kind of popcorn this, guys. So if you have questions, put them in here. Best skip tracing service. I really like batchleads.io. Batch has always done a phenomenal job. Evo over there, Evo Dragunov, is a psychopath when it comes to getting the absolute best data. The other one that I really like is skipgenie.com. Skipgenie.com. It gives you a little bit more information. They do a really, really, really excellent job. Okay. Hey, Brent, do you wholesale vacant land? If so, what do you think would be easier to get a deal, ugly house or vacant land? I would say ugly house, Javier. Vacant land is a little trickier. Now, the nice thing is the sellers don't really expect much. They either want 10 times what it's worth or they want nothing for it. And so vacant land is really, really, really good. You just have to make sure that you are dealing with a pool of investors that are going to do something with that land. There's way more investors for houses, way more investors for houses. And Daniel, for non-bulk skip tracing, skipgenie.com. Skipgenie.com is a phenomenal service for you. All right. Awesome. So, and guys, put it in the chat. You can see the chats popping up on the side of the screen. It's absolutely awesome. So what are you going to learn? In this course, you're going to learn how to find and analyze good deals for cash flow and capital gains, active income. That's what capital gains. So in the Rich Dad world, they have everything sorted into cash flow or capital gains. Cash flow is more of rental income, and capital gains is flipping and assigning deals. All right. Buy and hold, buy and flip, and assignment strategies, referrals, working with agents and wholesalers, and marketing, how to talk to motivated sellers, making offers and negotiate with them, financing options, the escrow and closing process, and much more. Guys, we've got, I don't know, a bunch of slides in here. It's going to be awesome. And just to set the foundation, guys, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad back in the year 2000, and it was given to me as a high school graduation gift. And I know some of you guys weren't even born in the year 2000. That tells you how long I have been doing this business. I started in 2004, got a real estate license, and started doing transactions as of 2004 after I got out of college. I've been involved with over 2,000 deals. And I have 3 businesses that do over 7 figures. That's real active income. That's real top line. That's not bottom line, but I keep a bunch of it. I have a portfolio of rental properties. This commercial building that I'm in here, it's about 4,100 square feet. And I've got my PPC company in this office. I've got a Wholesaling Inc, my coaching program or a coaching business in this building. But my real estate business is everybody works from home. So we meet twice a week. We meet on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and we meet on Fridays at 10 a.m. All right. There you go. And I've got a bunch of storage units. I've got a teeny share of a company called Abernathy Holdings. That's Andrew Abernathy. And he goes and he develops these gigantic Class A storage units. So I own a tiny part of that. I don't want to blow that up and be like, oh, I own it all, because that would be a lie. And what's the point? Let's be authentic and get to the nitty gritty of this thing. All right. And I have a passion for teaching. Right. And I've personally worked with over 3,000 wholesalers around the country. I've got over 3,000. It's probably 3,500 in my phone right now that I text with on a regular basis. Easy Rich, what's the biggest mistake you've seen beginners make with contracts or assignments? Very great question. I think when it comes to the contracts, I think people really overthink it, and we're going to go into different parts of the purchase agreement. Actually, you know what? Let's just skip to it now, and I'll show you how to negotiate these contracts, because it's all right here. And then it gives you a little bit of foreshadowing of what this whole training is going to be about right here. Purchase agreement. So let me remove this. These are the main parts of the purchase agreement. When you're talking with a property owner, you're ready to negotiate with them. They've made the decision they're going to sell the property. And so you're there ready to put together a purchase agreement. So you've got you as the buyer, you've got them as the seller. We call that the parties, right? Who are the parties involved? Next is, what is the price? What is the closing date? How long is the inspection period? How much earnest money deposit are you going to put down? And what title company or closing attorney are you going to use? So that's really all you have to focus on. The biggest mistake that I see, going back to it, Easy Rich, when you're getting started out with the purchase agreement, is not going through the purchase agreement with the property owner. The purchase agreement is the relationship. It's literally written out. This is the relationship between the seller and between you, and this is how things are going to go. So the biggest mistake that I see is people don't go through it line by line, section by section with the property owner so that they understand, hey, listen, once you commit to this purchase agreement, it is a binding offer. This is a binding contract. You can't sell your property to somebody else. Now, depending on what state you're in, I believe in Virginia or Pennsylvania, I'd have to check that. Somebody can fact check me on that. The seller can cancel for whatever reason at any time, right? If it's a wholesale offer and it's not just a regular, hey, I'm going to just buy this and not assign it. If you have the opportunity to assign a purchase agreement, I believe it's Pennsylvania. If you have the ability to assign it, they have the ability to back out at any point. Got it? Yeah, Pennsylvania. Glenn, my man. Yes, thank you. Glenn's in the house. Pennsylvania with 2 S's. There we go. That's awesome. So that is, let me see if I have anything else. No, I don't. Okay. So let's get back to it. And guys, just keep sending in the questions and I'll keep firing them out. All right. So, next, here we go. This is what it takes to succeed. All right. I want you to leave all of your past real estate experience at the door. All right. Don't bring it with you. Right. Don't filter what I'm going to tell you and coach you on this training through your own experience. Okay. Just don't do it. Just be really super, super coachable. And it's going to, I'm telling you, it works every time. It's undefeated. If you follow the instructions on what I'm going to show you here, you cannot lose. You cannot lose. It's only when you start filtering it through your own experience that things get weird. I need you guys. That's why I say the best investors are the dumbest investors, because they just get instruction and take massive imperfect action on that instruction. All right. Next, your mindset is more important than the economy. There's good deals in every market, up, down, flat. The best time to get started is right now. It doesn't matter. Guys, I'm telling you, there is more equity in the market right now than ever before. You can Google it. How much home equity do Americans have? It is trillions. It's more than it's ever been. So if there's equity, there's deals. Okay. If there's no equity, then you get into all sorts of different shenanigans with short sales and that type of thing. And you can't even buy short sales. So we have a ton of equity. That means that there's a great opportunity right now. And keep it simple. All right. These are the 3 things that you need to focus on. Find good deals, talk to people, and make offers. That's it. That is it. Really, we boil it down to conversations and offers, conversations and offers, conversations and offers, right? Here we go. Dimitri right here. Do not make assumptions. You can buy great deals owned by real estate attorneys, real estate agents, university professors. Assumption kills all deals. Couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely incredible. That is awesome. Yeah, it's the truth. Listen, people will trade price for speed and convenience every single day. Price and convenience for speed. Right? I mean, speed and convenience for price. That's what we're looking for. All right. And then take massive imperfect action. Remember this, progress is more important than perfection. Don't get stuck by the 3 P's, right? Procrastination, paralysis by analysis, and perfectionism, right? Those are the 3 P's. We got to destroy all those. Massive imperfect action. All right. Good. Next, remember this. You make money when you buy. I don't care if it's a rental property. I don't care if it's a flip. I don't care if it's an assignment. Everything comes down to you make money when you buy. Okay? Finding great deals with both cash flow potential for your buyers and capital gains. Basically, find good deals. All right? The better the deal, the more and bigger ways there are to profit from it, and the less risky they are. So it all starts from the fundamentals of being able to negotiate a really great deal from the beginning. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? Awesome. Glenn says, I hear from people that there is a lot of competition in their market. Guys, the only competition is only what you are putting in your head. There are deals everywhere. You know it. Absolute truth. Absolute truth. Boom. Dimitri has a closing today, small 4K win, closing tomorrow, medium-sized deal, $19,400. Here we go. Awesome. Bo, you can ring the next one. Awesome job. Would you say using AI texting for cold leads is an effective way to generate leads and grow a real estate pipeline? No. Oscar, I would say no. And the reason that I say no to the AI texting is there's three different types of leads, right? There's three different types. Matt, let's go over here. By the way, guys, $1 million breaks down to $50,000, $20,000 deals or $100,000, $10,000 deals. Just remember that. All right. But when it comes, thank you, bud. When it comes to hot, warm, or cold leads, all right, these are your leads. Hot leads, 7 to 30 days. They're going to sign a purchase agreement. 30 to 90 days for warm, and your cold leads are 90 days plus. The problem, Oscar, that I have with the AI going in and communicating with the cold leads, typically you haven't qualified them enough. Like you had a conversation, they said, yeah, I'm thinking about selling in the future, but I have this in the way, or this is preventing me from doing it right now, or whatever else, or, check back with me in a little while. Like you're not really doing the discovery. So then what you're doing is you're hoping that the AI will go in and just plant the seeds, which is fine. I prefer more of a personal touch. If you can really figure out AI to the point where it sounds like you and it's really conversational, like it's doing a really good job, I think that would be okay for the cold leads, but I would not, under any circumstances, use AI for your hot or warm. Don't do it. This, if you've done enough pre-qual, the problem that I have with the cold leads are you're just hanging on to them. You're just holding them and they clog up your pipeline. Like imagine that you've got a literal pipeline and these cold leads are like sticking to the sides of your pipe, and it's slowing down the process for these two. And it really does. So they have to kind of find their way through the congestion of your pipeline when you have too many leads that are bad here. So what I would say is if it's a cold lead, if it's 90 days plus, one, it better be a probate or inherited situation or something going through the courts, or two, the property is destroyed, absolutely destroyed. If it's destroyed, keep it in your pipeline. I'm fine with that. Even if they're not serious yet, keep it in your pipeline. All right, good. There we go. Next slide here. Boom. All right, here we go. I don't care about that one. Picking your profit. Here's what I care about. All right, hide this one. All right, there's three main ways to profit from real estate here, guys. And if you've ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you've ever read the cash flow quadrant, you're going to recognize this graphic on the right side, right? There's 4 ways to earn income, guys. There's only 4 ways. And this was really put together by Sharon Lecter, who we're going to have on the show. Rafael Cortez and I are going to be doing a Thursday show coming up in June, starting in June, where we're going to bring on the best of the best, real operators, real thought leaders. They're going to be coming in. It's going to be bananas. Get ready for that. But she put this together, and there's 4 ways. You can earn money by working for somebody else. That's an employee, right? And in that, you have a job. You trade your time for money. The second is self-employed, right? This is where a lot of us are at right now, where you're just getting started. Maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe you're going full-time in this business, but you're a solopreneur. If it's just you out there doing all the work, wearing all the hats, going through all the processes, then you are self-employed. You own a job, okay? And that's usually the transition. You can see the arrow there. Until you get the consistency to where you are now the business owner, you don't have to trade your time for money. You're bringing on really great talent to be able to take some of those things off your plate. You start firing yourself from certain roles, and then you've got the asset investor. All right. This is where your money makes baby monies. This is where you play the game. And this is a game that's really, if you take it seriously, it can be really sexy, right? How can you make your money make more money? How can you get your money to just duplicate and duplicate over and over and over? And at some point, I think every entrepreneur goes through this where you go, okay, I bought the shoes that I wanted as a kid. I bought the watch that I wanted since I was in my 20s. I bought the car and I drive around the car or the truck or the whatever, the electric car, the cyber truck, the whatever it is. I've got all that stuff. Great. But now I want to really focus on the wealth side of it. I really want to focus on the expansion. It's a new challenge. It's a new project. It's a new way to think. And it's really, really, really exciting. Some people, it's their default. And those are the analyticals and the Warren Buffett minds, or mini Warren Buffett minds that just do a phenomenal job of saving everything and putting it away and living frugally and really, just pushing back the rewards. And they do a great job. But listen, I'm not that. I haven't ever been that. I'm going to go buy that watch. I'm going to go buy that car. I'm going to buy that house. I'm going to buy that vacation house. I'm going to go on that vacation. I'm going to do all these things. I always thought if I increase my income, then great. I'll just focus on increasing my income and not decreasing my monthly costs. And I got it out of my system. Now I'm in the, okay, how do I make this money make more money? Right. Anyway, 3 ways to profit in real estate. Buy and hold. This is passive cash flow, long-term capital gains. This is asset building. Number 2, buy and flip. Active cash flow, short-term capital gains. This is where your income is building. And then the third is to assign it, right? Get paid for finding great deals. That's what wholesaling is. So really you have to understand, what is your path? What path are you at? Are you independently wealthy? Do you have a great job that you love and you just want to buy really great deals and you just want to learn here in this session to go out and find great deals to keep in your portfolio? Great. I would say most of us, we need that active income. We need that active income. All right. Let me get into some questions here. Alfredo, would you rather door knock pre-foreclosures in New York, New Jersey, or do it virtually in other markets? I think if you're going to go after pre-foreclosures, you have to go to the door. You have to go to the door. If you're in a market that has over 500,000 people, what's up, Anton? If you have over 500,000 people, you got to go to the door. If it's in somewhere rural and nobody's really approaching these property owners, there's not a lot of conversations around buying their property, then yeah, you could do it virtually. You could call them up and do it. But for the most part, if you're in pre-foreclosure, you're probably behind in your credit card payments and your car loan and all sorts of other things. And yeah, Gillen. If they're just getting a lot of calls, they're just getting a tremendous amount of calls. So it's a lot of white noise. All right. Well, we got some questions going on. Have you done a burr and how do you start with that? No. You know what? TKM 609, I foreclosed on 5 properties in 2010. And so that was a brutal thing to go through for just a financial standpoint, from my credit standpoint, from an ego standpoint. So it's truly rock bottom. I foreclosed on the properties. I had 2 cars repoed. I got a judgment on me. I got sued at 27 or 28 years old for $700,000 for an office lease that I couldn't pay anymore. And so I buy the properties cash, except for this building. This building I bought with a commercial loan because I was curious to see how that worked. And I just didn't want to put, $1.1 million down on this property. But the nice thing about commercial loans is I think it's a 15-year loan. So it pays off really quick. And I'm 5 years into it. So in 10 years, it's going to be free and clear. But I like owning property free and clear. That is not the smart thing to do. The wise thing to do is to get leverage and to do all that. But in my mind, the like really, really old school, white haired, really wealthy, twinkle in their eyes investors that I know personally here in Arizona all own their properties free and clear. All of them. Interesting, right? There's something to be said there that you know, good you know, if you have a tenant in there, you don't have a tenant in there, you know, you're not getting too stressed out. And so I just like leaving my stress levels at a normal pace and a normal place, I should say, and own them free and clear. But that's my opinion. You can do whatever you want in your business. Brent, Javier asked, Brent, what's the best intro when on the phone to break the normal brain pattern a seller gets when approached by a telemarketer investor? Yes, Javier, thank you for asking this. It is not the words you say. Human communication, 11%. You can look this up. 11% are the words that we say. The majority is our tone and body language, and people can understand body language. This is what's so shocking to me when people are making calls in a dark room, or they're sitting down, or they're laying down, or they're eating, or whatever else. It's like, oh my gosh, you can't impact somebody. You can't display conviction for the reason for your call if you are lazy, if you sound lazy, if you sound uninterested, if you assume that they're going to give you say no to you. You got to go in there with a high level of enthusiasm and conviction. And so number one to me, if I were calling you, I'd call you up and I'd be like, Javier, yeah, how are you? Yeah, this is Brent Daniels. Yeah, listen, I know that this sounds super random, but see, I'm kind of like, wait, who is this? What's going on here? He sounds like he knows me. Have we talked before? But do I know this person in my past? Now you're racking your brain, and I'm sending your brain on a different path to where you're like, wait, should I know this person, or you know, or what's going on here? As opposed to, oh, this is somebody that just wants to buy my house, or it's a scam, or whatever else, right? And so the tonality is so huge, and that's how I'd use it, Javier. So go ahead and implement that into your business this week. Always use the first name if you can. If you're in the South, you can go Mr. or Miss. That's fine. I don't mind that, or sir or ma'am. Some of that is fine. But if you're not in the southern states, it's not going to play. That it feels like you are gassing them up too much, as the kids call it. All right. Awesome. Charlotte, where'd you go? Charlotte, what's the best place to find lists of distressed properties and opportunities? Fantastic. Let me show you a couple places here. I'm going to share the screen. I like these guys. These guys do a phenomenal job. realsupermarket.com. realsupermarket.com. If you go and reach out to Ashuta, his email is up here in the top, and then they've got the phone number. They got probate, code violation, pre-probate, foreclosure, tax liens, inheritance, and they can customize it. So what I recently did, Charlotte, is I said, hey, Ashuta, I want people that are at least 2 years behind on their property taxes, and I want their property taxes owed to be a minimum of $10,000, and I want it for all of Maricopa County. And he sent that to me, and I think it was like 25 or 35 cents an address. And so he sent 1,000 of them over. I think I spent $250 to $350 on it. And that sounds expensive, but if you really, really, really focus on those, and the other thing is, and I wanted the properties to be built before 1990. So I wanted older properties, and I wanted them under 2,000 square feet. Let me get this real quick. Let me share this. The other one is going to be Deal Machine. Deal Machine does a phenomenal job of giving you really, really, really great lists. You get 10,000 free skip traces, which means you get the phone numbers, and you get all of the lists that you're really looking for. That's going to show signs of distress. I think Ashuta does a better job at some of the tougher lists to get, like the probates and the tax defaults and the liens and the code violations. But for everything else, Deal Machine does a phenomenal job. Make sure, Matt, will you put the ticker on? Or I can. on our affiliates for those guys. If you just tell Ashuta that you're working with me, he'll hook you up. And then the Deal Machine one is just use the code TTP and they hook you up with some awesome stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it's awesome. Anyway, great questions so far, guys. Bring it. Keep them coming. Easy Rich, can you explain some advantages and disadvantages of PPC and PPL? Yeah, PPL is fantastic. PPL stands for pay per lead. The best leads are going to be probably between $100 and $350, $400 a lead. You can get some less expensive leads. I've got a couple resources here for the PPLs that you guys can take a look at. LeadZolo is a good one that people really like in certain areas. LeadZolo is fantastic. And then the other one is TTP Leads.com. That is our portal for, look at that guy. That is our portal. That was when I was beefy, baby. Oh yeah. That's 220 Brent there. That's peptide Brent. That is the TTP Leads is property leads. Property leads is fantastic. I think between property leads and LeadZolo, iSpeed the Lead does a great job as well, depending on the markets, is the feedback that I'm getting from students. And I think it's a great training ground to be able to get to the point where you can afford PPC and you've got all of your processes in place for PPC. All roads lead to PPC. PPC stands for pay per click. So what happens is people go on their phone and they go on Google and they say, sell my house fast, or they go sell it without an agent or sell for cash. And that means they're ready right now. They're literally searching for somebody to buy their home right now, which is phenomenal, which is the highest intent and the fastest leads that I've ever experienced. And so, but with PPC, you want to have, if you're in a smaller market, let's say 500,000 or below, you want to have at least a $5,000 budget. If you're 500,000 and above in your market, you want to spend at least 75 to 10,000 a month if you're going to do pay-per-click. That means with PPL, you can go all the way up to that budget. You could be spending, you start out with 1,000 and then 2,000 and then 3,000 and then 5,000. And then once you get to that point and you're closing deals consistently, you have 3 to 6 months set aside. That's when you do PPC. Okay. Awesome. Let me put this back on here. And here's what I would look at when you are pulling lists, guys. In the beginning, focus on these kinds of properties. Okay. Typically start close to your home if possible. If you live in a different country, if you're in Belgium, like Dimitri, if you are in Israel, like so many incredible students that I've worked with, if you are in, Central or South America, whatever, if you're doing this all virtual, great. It's best to be in a market that has high inventory. And what I mean by high inventory is 4 to 5 months of inventory. That means that they've got, you take the active listings. Let me do it over here, Matt. If you're going to do it virtually and not in your backyard, you want to take the active homes for sale and divide it by the pendings, the ones that are under contract. This is under contract. And that'll give you the inventory. And if you're going to do virtual, you're going to want 4+ months of inventory. Got it? Boom. We're cruising. You guys are participating. I love this. 220 pure muscle. That's right, Howard. Yeah, I don't know about that. I was like 19% body fat. Yeah, it adds on. I was just trying to push weight, I just wanted to see what that was like. But then I dropped down to 190. And I think it's like 11% body fat now. Not that you guys care, but I'm just letting you know. Z-Tone, Brent, I'm in contact with your team. I have debts I've been saving to pay off, but I want to join your mentorship. Nice. I know you have experience with debt. Would you pay off the debts ASAP or Joan? Yes, I would. I mean, my personal opinion is I don't want to be on somebody else's um, asset and liability, their balance sheet, right? You're an asset on somebody's balance sheet, right? I get that done, get that high interest paid off, and then let's go, right? I don't want you to get more into debt or I get it with the instruction and the community. You can go and you can find some bigger deals and do all that. But I don't know. I like getting the debt paid off first and then rocking and rolling. I don't like people going into tremendous amount of debt, especially consumer debt. But that's a personal choice for you. Doug, hey Brent, outside of money you put back into your business, what are you currently investing in? Oh, great question. So Doug, I am putting money aside I'm lending on our own deals. So we're going to be doing a little bit more flips. We just have one that's going to go live next week, which is phenomenal. So I earn 8% on that. I don't go the full 12%. I go 8%, but I'm really just building up a nice fund to be able to lend for projects here in Phoenix with some of the guys that have been around for a while that know what they're doing. So that's one of them. I've looked into just throwing $1,000 a day into the S&P 500. I think long term that's going to work out. And maybe some, with Bitcoin, I cashed out a Bitcoin a few months ago when it was really peaked, then starting to wiggle a little bit. It's probably a short-sighted approach to it, but it made sense to me, and it's been working out. So yeah. 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 I've been keeping the budget. I used to have everybody in on Fridays and provide lunch and do all that, but my team got really busy. I mean, the last 2 years with all of our PPC leads, these guys are on appointments like right now. We get a lead in and they're gone. So I couldn't get the whole team together as consistently. So it was a lot easier to do it virtually. So I decided to do that. Oh, Glenn has where'd that go? Can you put that back up? Who put that up? Glenn has a closing 7,000 or something today. There it is. 7K. Here we go. Nice. Glenn, put in. I'm real curious here because I'm going to go through the buy box of properties that you should be the way that you should filter out your lists. Glenn, tell me, what was the size of the house? What was the price of the house? What was the age of the house? And how long had the owner owned that house? And what was their motivation? Because this truly is the sweet spot for the list that you want to pull. And I don't care if it is driving for dollars. I don't care if it is your tired landlords. I don't care if it's owner occupied properties. I don't care if it is probates or inherited or tax default or code violations. These are going to be the properties that sell the fastest. All right. Single family or multifamily up to 4 units. Okay. Under 2,000 square feet. Why? Because a lot of our cash investors don't have these huge $1 million budgets. They want to keep their budget under, typically, my experience, under about 70,000, and in some markets under like 40,000. And so if you have a house that's 5,000 square feet built in the 70s, with just a horrible floor plan, because every architect in the 70s and early 80s was out of their mind. They must have been taking the craziest drugs of all time to put together those floor plans from the 70s and 80s. And if you've ever lived in a house from the 70s and 80s, you know what I'm talking about. You got you got stairs going up, you got stairs going down, you got sunken living rooms, you got crazy, wacky things going on all over the place. It was nuts. The budget for that would be astronomical. So, but if you have a 2,000 square foot house and the floor plan's terrible, you can do something with that. It's not going to cost you too much. And for the most part, the fix and flip investors and or buy and hold investors are looking for properties that are 3.2 under 2,000 square feet. And that's the bread and butter. All right. You want to keep them at a price range where it's the median sale price or below right now, guys. Median sale price or below. But there's like a black hole. There's like a dead zone between median sale price and luxury. In that area, properties are just rotting on the market. Absolutely rotting on the market. So, yeah, stick to median sale price and below. Just Google it. What's the median sale price in your county, in your city, in your town, in your area, whatever, and focus on those neighborhoods. All right. Ownership type, individuals. I want them owned personally. Now, sometimes it's a trust, sometimes it's LLCs, but typically if somebody's going to put their property ownership into an LLC, they're not going to sell their property. They are real investors, right? And for the most part, if they're real investors, they want way too much for their property. It's just been my experience. And length of ownership, at least 7 years. All right. Length of ownership, 7 years. Awesome. Let's see. Zach, 5K closing today, wholesale to creative deal that I would not have pursued, but I reached out to somebody in the tribe and they helped with the paperwork. Come on, Zach. Yes. I love it. Congratulations. That is awesome. 5K. Let's get that. Let's add a 0 to it. Let's get a 0 to that. All right. Awesome. How would you go about talking to a family member of a deceased homeowner to see if they are open to an offer? I imagine it would be a sensitive topic to bring up. Absolutely. We do this all the time. Now, obviously, it's a lot easier for us because they're reaching out to us. They're filling out our form on our website. They're coming to us. And so it opens up the conversation. If you're reaching out to them, it's all about your tone. It's all about your tone, and it's all about you providing value. What do they need? Do they need help securing the property? Do they need help moving stuff out of the property? Do they need help with their estate sale? Do they need help whatever? I mean, just moving the old cars that the person was going to fix up and the whole family loves them and they want to live their legacy and fix up this car someday in the future and they need help moving those, whatever it is, right? You work with people that are going through this situation and you just want to see how you can help out. That's the best approach. And all comes down to your tone of voice, right? So that's the way that you do it. And listen, it's just have a tremendous amount of empathy. Somebody's just lost a loved one. They're going through tough times. There's a lot on their plate. All of a sudden they have to go through the sale of the property. They have to communicate with all of the relatives. They have to go through the funeral process. They have to go and unwind all of the things that are attached to that deceased person's bank account that's getting pulled out of their bank account, their Netflix subscription, their whatever, their gym membership, whatever. They got to unwind all of that stuff. So you got to be patient. It always takes longer than you think it does with people that are inheriting a property. Just have a tremendous amount of empathy and help out as much as possible. Okay. Howard, if a seller I have a contract with is going to auction on the 31st, can I delay it since we are closing? Yes. Yeah. Reach out to whoever is in charge of foreclosing on that property, whether it is the courts or whether it's a trustee, depending on the state, and just tell them, hey, listen, I have a purchase agreement. We're going to be closing this property cash. We're already through our inspections. I need to get the foreclosure date postponed. And they will. Most of the time they will. Okay. Awesome. I did that one. Okay. Now let's move on to some more coaching here. All right. Now here's signs of good deals. Number one, tattoo it, put it somewhere, write it in on with a Sharpie, not a Sharpie, a dry erase marker on your shower. We are deal finders, not deal creators. Put it on your mirror in your bathroom. We are deal finders, not deal creators. So how do we find it? It is it is right there where you see that dollar sign in this Venn diagram. And the Venn diagram is made up of 3 circles: poor property condition, equity, and motivation. They have a reason why they want to trade price for speed and convenience. And there are so many different reasons why. They're tired landlords. The property's vacant. They're going through foreclosure. There's been a death, whatever. Poor property condition, equity, and motivation. Right there, you get all 3 of those. That's how you find a good deal. That is the sign of a good deal. Okay? Right there. We're deal finders, not deal creators. Just because somebody should sell their house, just because somebody has a property that's vacant. And then I just had this conversation yesterday. I just had this conversation with Nancy yesterday. There is a property. It's been vacant. It's totally gutted. It's down to the studs. The neighbor across the street was vacant as well. The neighbor across the street's vacant house, somebody went in there, did a bunch of drugs, and burned the house down, right? So Nancy's out there. The owner wants $125 for this thing. I say you got to be at 30,000. Okay. Nancy's like, well, they have to sell. They need to sell. Somebody's going to break in there. They're going to do it. You can't fabricate motivation. You can't implant motivation. It has to be innate. It has to be inside them. It has to bubble from within. That's what I mean by we're deal finders, not deal creators. So much time and so many calories are burnt trying to convince people to sell their property or something bad will happen. Stop it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. All right. Next. And this goes in line with the question here where it is, boom, right here. Juan, I got you. How can I get off market deals? Right here. All right. 3 ways to get deals, guys. There's only 3 ways. Referrals. These are deals that are referred to you by people in your network. One, every single day, you should be friend requesting people in groups in the areas that you're working and get your friends in Facebook up to 5,000. All right. Prune that every month. Get rid of all the junk. Get rid of all the bots. Get rid of all the dead accounts. Get new people in every month. And then every single day, post to your stories, I buy houses, send me your deals. I buy houses, send me your deals. I buy houses, send me your deals. Every single day. And that's how you start building up your referrals. Now, I know that you said off market, but let me get to it. On market deals, these are deals that are listed on the MLS as an agent. I believe the next couple years at least, this is going to be a very strong strategy. Properties are going to rot on the market. Sellers are going to get super, super angry about it, and they're going to just get rid of properties. It's a really strong strategy. Really strong strategy. I really like a company called offergun.com. They can put together the realtor contracts and send them out to realtors based on the address. I think you just put in the address and they'll put together the whole purchase agreement. You get to put in whatever price you want and they'll send it over to them. It's phenomenal. It's a great, great, great tool. All right. But the question Juan asked was for off-market deals. These are deals you source from other real estate investors called wholesalers, or you source yourself by working directly with motivated sellers. You got 2 roads here, Juan. Are you going to be a dispo guy? You're going to be Jamil Damji? Or are you going to be Spencer Caldwell? Are you going to be Matt Justice out there that they have all of these buyers that are chomping at the bit? They're masters at certain areas. They know exactly what the investors are looking for. And so they sign up for everybody's blasts. They reach out to all the other wholesalers and say, if you run across that, reach out to me because I've got great buyers for this. That's a strong strategy. You won't make as much. You're going to make between 8 and 10,000 a deal, but 8 and 10,000 is still a lot, and it's phenomenal, and you have no marketing budget. So that's one strategy. The other strategy is going direct to the property owner themselves, right? Go direct to them. So how are you going to do that? Well, if you don't have a budget for them to reach out to you, you have to reach out to them. There's two ways: door knock or cold call. You call them or you knock the door, baby. Like, you got to be really proactive. You're in hustle season. You're chopping wood, you're carrying water day after day after day after day, building something special. But everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through the hustle season. There are no visionaries when you have a wholesale business, when you're starting out. There's no visionary. Let's destroy that. It's nonsense. When I hear people say they're visionaries, I hear, oh, you're entitled. You're entitled. You just don't want to work. You think you're too good for the hustle season. Good luck. And entitled people don't get paid. They don't. So go out there. There is no visionary. There's only hard work. There's only conversations and offers. Okay? Now, if you want to build a nationwide franchise and do all that, great. Be successful with this. Replace yourself in the business. Fire yourself from the roles, and then go bananas. But there's no visionaries in a wholesaling or flipping business. That's nonsense. Whoever wrote the book on that or ever put that in your head is just trying to sell you something. Okay? Do we all get that? Who's the real gangsters in the chat here that can agree with me and understand that there's no visionary, there's no room for visionaries here? That's just entitlement. Put it in the chat. Love to see it. All right. Boom. Isaac, Brent, in tiny markets where slumlords control 70% of the rentals, what's your unsexy but highest converting lead generation tactic when bandits, signs, and cold calling stop working, specifically for sub 10K a pop deals? Yeah, Isaac. Well, first of all, I wouldn't mess with any of those. I would totally avoid those, because my strategy is to try to make between 8 and 10% per deal. And if it's a property at $10,000, I mean, there's just not room. And so I want to do bigger deals. So I think the minimum you should go through is 150,000 ARV. 150,000 ARV. Now, because you've asked the question, listen, slumlords, if they're just buying properties for 10,000, putting people in on some sort of weird rent to own situation, you're probably not going to get those deals. It's probably already, they don't really have much to lose. They're not going to gain much by selling those properties. But I mean, if you just talk to a bunch of them and see how it goes, I mean, you got to test it out. Either way, it's conversations and offers, and just see if it's worth your time even going after them. My opinion, it's not. It's not worth your time. Okay? Awesome. Moving on. Comfort versus profit. Often in the real world, it's not the smart who get ahead, but the bold. Robert Kiyosaki. Guys, look at this chart. This is a comfortability versus profitability chart. The more comfortable you are in the conversation, the less profit you're going to make. The less you're going to make. When the properties are on market with an agent, that's easy. They want to sell. You know how long they've been on the market. You know the condition of the property, right? You'll probably know the motivation if you talk to the agent. And then it just comes down to price. So that it's not really uncomfortable having those conversations. But because it's on the market, everybody's going to already see that, and it better be a smoking deal. And typically they're tighter deals. So the profitability is lower. When you go to off market, to wholesalers, you could talk to those wholesalers. It's a lot easier conversation to do the dispo model. But when you're doing that, the deals are going to be smaller because there's more people getting fed from that deal. The most uncomfortable and the highest profit is always going to be off market direct to seller. That's the world that I live in. That's the world that I love. And in my opinion, it is the world that will be around 10 years, 15, 20 years from now. Going direct to seller. If people don't go direct to seller, there's no deals. There's no off-market deals. Somebody's got to do it, right? And so I like being the master of my own future. I like going after and building a pipeline of opportunities that nobody else knows about. And so I like going off-market direct to the property owner. Okay? So remember that. Comfortability, profitability, right? You want to be comfortable? Great. You're just not going to make as much per deal. That's it. Assembling your local support team. The best way to find professionals to work with in your marketplace is by referral. Get referrals from other investors. You need to have an unbelievable escrow officer or closing attorney, depending on your state. Escrow officer or closing attorney. They are going to make or break your business. They're going to make or break your ability to close on time and to really live up to the obligations that you put forward in your purchase agreement. Okay? The escrow officer is going to tell you when there's going to be problems with title. They're going to tell you if the seller's not cooperating. They're going to tell you if they think that the buyer is being shady or they're trying to pull one on you. And Dina is the best escrow officer I've ever worked with in over 20 years. And she gives us cash buyers. She works weekends. She works nights. She's sending mobile notaries to me in my office all the time. She's forecasting issues before they're even issues. She's caught 3 cases of fraud already in the last 12 months. I mean, she has saved us so much headache and heartache. It is absolutely critical that you have an experienced title and escrow officer and or closing attorney. All right. Number 2 is your hard money or transactional lender. You need to build a relationship with people that have the money if you don't have the money to buy these properties. Because you can't just go and make an offer unless you have the money to back you up to make that offer. That's called fraud. You can't just say, hey, I've got all this cash and I'm the buyer of this property. I'm going to put it on this purchase agreement if you don't have the ability to close on it. Right? Well, Brent, that's so scary. That's why transactional lending exploded the whole. Do you know why wholesaling became so popular? One, because of Tom Kroll and the Wholesaling Inc. podcast went bananas. And then that was listened to by a guy named Max Maxwell. And then Max Maxwell went bananas on YouTube. And then boom, COVID hit and everybody was stuck at home and everybody was listening to podcasts, watching YouTube, trying to do something virtually. And then the business exploded. Okay? Business exploded. But at the same time, transactional funding was really coming online. Transactional funding will give you 100% of the purchase price. They will fund 100%. You could walk into any deal with zero money, zero of your own money into it. Zero. That makes you a cash buyer if you build a relationship with your transactional lender. Make sure you do it. That's what professionals do. All right? And the last one is find somebody local. Find a real estate investor that's local, that's going to walk you through, give you great referrals. They're going to give you great instruction on how the business works in your marketplace, right? And you can sell them deals. You can run things past them. You can have them comp your deals, all those things, right? They're going to make sure that you understand, is this a deal or not a deal? Make sure that you assemble the right team. Boom. Internet. Internet killer. All right, there we go. Reading and spelling isn't our strong suit, is it, Bo? No, it sure isn't. Locking up second deal today. Have 2 buyers. One hasn't given me a number, but has project nearby. Other won't have money until their other house sells in 2 months. Seller owes $33K. How do I approach both? Well, first of all, let's ring it for locking up your second deal. Just ring it. That's why you don't let 8-year-olds ring the bell. Anton or Matt, can you fix this? There you go. Okay, so first, I wouldn't mess with either of these buyers. I want a buyer that's ready now. I want a buyer that is absolutely ready right now. They're not messing around. They don't need properties to sell. They're not doing any of that. Reach out to more buyers. If you're locking up that deal, you got to reach out to way more buyers on this thing. Okay. Because it's just, they have a project nearby, but they haven't given me a number. And then the other one has to wait. No, we're not waiting. We're selling the deal in 15 minutes. If you have a smoking hot deal, people are going to be pounding on your door to get that. Okay. Boom. That's right. Question. Easy Rich, if you had to start over from scratch today, what would you do differently in your first 90 days? In this market, I would find every property that's been on the market for 90 days. I would call up every single real estate agent and I would find out what's going on. I'd find out, do they have any current offers that they're negotiating, or is it number one, is it still available? 2, what offers have they rejected? 3, if they can't get the price that they want, what's their plan with the property? 4, do you have any other properties that are similar to this? Right? I'm looking for original condition or totally destroyed properties. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So that's what I would do. I would go on the MLS and I would just filter out the properties or I'd go on Redfin or Zillow and just go absolutely banana. At the same time, Easy Rich, I would go and I would find the 1,000 ugliest houses that are near, like within a 45-minute driving radius of where I live. I'd get those 1,000 and I'd be obsessed with them. I'd knock on the door. I'd make the calls. I would leave a little post-it leave behind on their door. I would do whatever I had to do to get a hold of them. That's what I would do. So I would do both those strategies. I'd be making offers all day long with offer gun and MLS deals. And I would go after the ugliest properties that I could find. That's what I would do. So really, I mean, Easy Rich, the first 90 days, it's the same. It's exactly what I did, in 2012 and 13 when I started this thing. Was I found ugly houses and made offers on ugly houses that were off market. But I would also, in this market, which is similar to 2012, really it's a 2014, 15, 16 market right now. It's MLS. I mean, people are going to be giving away houses on the MLS. For real. Yep. Awesome. So, make sure that you are assembling your local support team. Get rid of this, get rid of this. Now let's look at some more direct to seller strategies. All right. Whenever I look at this, I look at 3 main factors, Anton: freedom of schedule, cost, and profit margin. Okay. With cold calls and doors, do you have freedom of schedule? Yes. You're reaching out on your schedule. You're the one going out there. You're making contact with that property owner for me, it was between 9 and noon. The morning was for finding deals. The afternoon was for doing deals. So from 9 to noon, I was calling and knocking doors every single day because what else did I have to do? I didn't have any money. So I had to trade my effort for the budget that I didn't have. Okay. There's no cost essentially. So the profit margin is huge. Right. And then once you start building a budget, then you can start doing some inbound. Usually it starts with direct mail. Send out some direct mail. Do you have freedom of schedule? No. Why? Because you have to call, you have to answer those calls live. When somebody calls you, you have to answer the call. Right? If you let that go to voicemail, it's over. If you let that go to a call service, it's over. I'm telling you, you have to have the best person possible. And if it's just you to answer those calls live, you don't have a freedom of schedule. And it's a low to medium cost and a medium profit margin. And then, and this is simplifying everything, guys. The last one is getting web leads. Do you have freedom schedule? No, same reason. You have 30 seconds to respond to them. Cost, it's going to be high. Profit margin is medium, but you can scale, baby. You can scale, and it's faster. When you're doing cold calls and doors, it's 90 to 120 days before you get paid. Direct mail and web leads, direct mail is about 60 to 75 days. Web leads, we're under 30 days, start to finish, from the time that we get that lead to the time that we get paid. Cash cycle. Cash conversion cycle matters. Okay? You know what I'm talking about, Bo?
No.
John Johnson says hello. We got Bo on. There he is. There you go. Your buddy. Awesome. Okay. At what point do you hire help, and who was your first hire? I hired a VA, Lisa, in the Philippines from Upwork in 2016. And she was just to do transaction coordination and to run my emails. Right. And I think at the time she was $6 an hour. I think now she's $9 or $10 an hour, and she's phenomenal. I just let her do her thing and, send me a message if I need to look at an email, but for the rest of it, get rid of it all. And then once I turned in a deal to the title company, she would then go and make sure that everything else was organized and the title company was getting everything that they needed. And I would still follow up with the seller and the buyer on the deals, but she would work with the title company to make sure any little details that we needed were taken care of. But that, I mean, honestly, a lot of people hire VAs now for cold calling and for doing all that. That's fine. If you don't want to build that skill, it's just going to take you a tremendous amount. It's going to take a lot longer. I mean, unless you have a big budget to hire a bunch of them, it takes VAs about 10 times more conversations per deal. There we go. Awesome. All right, let's keep this thing going. Choosing the right strategy for you. Each marketing channel works if you focus on it. It's the absolute truth. Pick whichever one you can be the most consistent with based on your situation. Whose time do you want to work on, yours or somebody else's? How big is your marketing budget? Is it big or small? And what are your sales and negotiating skills? Are you new or experienced? Even if you have a big budget to spend to get people to call you, do you have the negotiating skills to be able to convert them? What do I mean by negotiating skills? You need to master discovery. And discovery comes down to one question. What is the goal with this property? What is the goal with this property? Right? That is all we're trying to strip down to. That's all we're trying to figure out. What is the goal with this property? And we got to be able to bring down those force fields and have a good, genuine, honest discovery conversation with the property owner. And if you don't have the skills to be able to do that, and you're spending money for them to reach out to you, when people are reaching out to you, you're bidding against 2 or 3 other companies. I'm just telling you now. So you need to have your discovery process down. Absolutely down. In the Rhino Tribe, wholesalinginc.com, guys, if you're interested in that, we have an incredible training called the No Limits Training. And Howard, I think, has been through it 3 times here. Put in the chat here, Howard, how many times you've been through it. I mean, it's phenomenal. I listen to it every year. It's absolutely incredible. The No Limit sales system. It's awesome. And it's a little plug for Wholesaling Inc. Come join the Rhino Tribe. Be a part of it. Nobody makes more. Nobody does more deals. I'm just telling you. All right. Motivated seller lists are the foundation of any outbound hustle season that you're going to be putting together in your career. Any cold calling, door knocking, and direct mail for that matter, comes down to motivated seller lists. There's 143 million properties, residential properties. We got to boil it down to the 6 to 10% that are in distress. That's who we need to focus on. Okay. And so you can either drive for dollars and literally put eyes on the property and see that they're in rough shape, or you can pull a list from a company. We gave you two options. Deal Machine is phenomenal. Batch Leads is phenomenal. Prop Stream is phenomenal. Real Supermarket for the real niche list is phenomenal. The other one that I will mention is I'll mention the US lead list right here. Share screen. These ones are one of the top lists that we work with. usleadlist.com. If there's not a waiting list in your area, you better lock in here. It's absolutely phenomenal. They give you the pre-probates. They go through the obituaries to find the people that passed away, match them up with the people that owned properties, and now you're having conversations. They give you the phone numbers. They give you, I think, 14 or 16 months of data, like past data with all of these. And I think right now he's running a special where it's like half off. It's half off the first month, which is absolutely bananas. If your area is available. So definitely check that out. Really, really, really solid lists. All right, let's add that back here. So that's it. Drive for dollars or pull your list. That's the two ways to get your motivated seller lists. All right. Marketing tool, Deal Machine. We talked about that. Okay. People are more likely to do business with people that they have a good rapport with. They like and trust you. Here are some ways to build rapport quickly, both over the phone and in person. Number one, mirror and match the speed and volume of their voice. People like communicating with people that communicate like them. They do. If you're a fast talker, if you're going crazy like I am right now, and you talk to somebody that speaks slower, they think that you are a snake oil salesman. They think you're a scammer. If you talk slow to somebody that talks really fast, they're going to think you are a moron. They are. They're going to think that you're a moron. And so you have to understand the different communication styles. There's 4 different communication styles: analytical, driver, expressive, amiable. Analytical are more your engineer types. They need everything logical. Drivers are more your CEO types that are just like, I don't care how the sandwich is built. Just give me the sandwich, right? Your amiables, they just want to hug everybody. It's your Aunt Donna. It's your aunt that just loves everybody, and they go to church, and they just want everybody to be happy, and everything should be right in the world. And they just want to put their arms around and be happy, happy, happy. Right, Bo? Right. Those are the amiables. And then expressives, people that you ask them one question, they're talking for 30 minutes and they don't breathe. They can do circular breathing where they can talk and breathe at the same time, and it is wild. But there's 4 different personality types. So you need to open up the conversation with questions, open-ended questions: who, what, where, when, how. Who, what, when, where, how. That's how you open. Those are open-ended questions. And then discover what is their communication style. What's their personality style? And then actively listen. Okay? Actively listen. Uh-huh. Sure. Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, great. Uh-huh. Oh, tell me more about that. Right? Actively listen. Don't just be totally silent. People like when you're nodding your head. People like when you're communicating and making noises with your mouth as they're talking, especially on the phone, because it gets real awkward if you're not saying anything. All right? Confirm and approve everything that they say. Don't add friction. Don't add friction to the conversation. Don't tell them they're wrong. They'll never do business with you. People will tell you all sorts of things. We get told prices for properties that are so ridiculous on a daily basis, we completely ignore it, and we just say, hey, listen, we can't tell you what you should sell your property for. We can only tell you what we can buy it for. Boom. Now you're moving through. We're not adding friction. And then when people ask you a question, answer the question and then ask a question. All right? Awesome. Ask a question. That's right. Let's see what we got here. Corey Grant, if you're looking to make 8 to 10% per deal, is that on ARV? Yeah, exactly. On the ARV, Corey. So this is going back to maybe 20, 30 minutes ago. We shoot to make 8 to 10% of the fixed up value, right? So if it's 500,000, once this property is fixed up, we're looking to make between, 40 and 50,000. Yeah. If it's 300,000, 30,000. We kind of stay right in that sweet spot between 300 and 400,000 ARV is most of the deals that we do. Great question. Boom, boom. Who's pulling the questions, Matt? Is it you or Hondra? I feel like there's more questions going on. Maybe she's got the baby or something. Here we go. Brent, do you think putting flyers door to door work? I wouldn't say flyers typically. In my experience, the flyers don't really work. It is the handwritten. So you can go on Amazon and you can get Post-it notes, and they look like mini yellow pads like this, right? They're kind of like a 5x7, I think they are, and but they're sticky. And you just write, stop by, call me, and put your name, first name, and phone number. Boom, right on the door, right on the garage, wherever you think that they're going to enter their house. And that's what I found works better than like the professional ones. Unless you're building brand, unless you've got TV commercials, radio commercials, billboard, people understand, recognize the brand. That's a totally different thing. Then I would do more of a professional approach. But if it's just you, I would just do that. I would just do the sticky notes. All right. Awesome. M. Garcia. Is this Mara? Hello, Brent. On a backup offer, do I treat it like a normal lead after acceptance? And can I do the double dip with the agent? Absolutely. Yeah. So let me unpack this a little bit. I think it is really smart to put backup offers on really great deals on the MLS. Okay. It's really great to put a backup offer on properties that are off market as well. Maybe not formal, but you're communicating with the property owner over and over and over and over, because a lot of these deals fall out, guys. A lot of the deals fall out. So if the property is under contract on the MLS, nobody else is calling that agent. Nobody else is putting in the backup offers. Nobody else is like constantly calling up that agent to see how things are going on. You will get free deals this way. I am telling you, there's companies that this is all they do. All they do is put backup offers on properties that are pending, Anton. You know what I mean? You see a property like, oh, that's a smoking deal, but it's already under contract. Great. Call that agent up, put a backup offer in. When that buyer starts beating them up on inspection periods, or they can't get funding, or they can't close, they're just yahoos. You know what I mean? Then you slide in the backup offer, get that deal. Yeah. Anton's going to do it today. All right, good. And then, double dip with the agent. Tell the agent they get to keep the commission. That's what's going to really push your offer. If there's more backup offers and an agent can make 2% or they can make 4%, they're going to work with you because they want to make more. All right. Great question. Here we go. Carlos, how can I borrow money for a duplex off market for 90 days to sell to an investor? There's a lot to unpack there, Carlos. So why not put it under contract and assign it to an investor? That's one. Two, if you want to close on it for 90 days, you're going to have to put 10% down typically. Probably 10 to 20% down with a hard money loan. That's a hard money loan. You can get any hard money loan lender. I would Google hard money lenders in your area, and I would see who requires the lowest down and just see. I'll show you here. And we're kind of skipping ahead a bunch, but I think that this is an important graphic to take a look at here, right here. All right. Let me remove your question here. So look at this. Other people's money financing, right? You've got conventional financing. This is just bank financing. You've got a line of credit. That means you have an asset and you got a line of credit on it. It's like a big credit card. You've got private money. This is your friends and family's money, right? You got hard money. These are lenders that are professional lenders. They go out and they pool all the wealthy people in the local markets money together. They give the wealthy people 8%. They put it out there at 10 to 12%. They earn fees. That's how they make that's how they do their business. And then there's transactional funding. They give you 100%, but they only give you 100% for one day. Okay. So look at all those different ones. This is other people's money. OPM, baby. Right now, for what you're looking for, you either get private money, Carlos, private money for, to be able to buy that duplex for 90 days. So friends, family, whatever, or you go hard money. And hard money is going to be 20% down usually. Now it's fast, it's asset based, which means they're typically not going to do an appraisal. They're probably not going to pull your credit. It's not really based on your income or your assets. Look at how to qualify right here. This section right here. Oh, you can't see my cursor, but it's the third one down. How to qualify. With conventional financing, you need income, assets, credit. For your line of credit, income, assets, credit. For private money, asset-based. Hard money, asset-based. Transactional funding, asset-based. What does asset-based mean? It means you have to have a smoking deal. If you have a smoking deal, boom, people are going to lend money because the risk isn't that huge. You know, they're going to, the collateral for that loan is going to be that deal. So they're like, well, listen, if they can't pay me the monthly mortgage on this thing, or the monthly cost on this, monthly interest on this, then I'll just take over the property and it's a smoking deal. Not a lot of risk, right? So there you go. Tua first. Brent, how many deals would you say you were able to close doing Driving for Dollars? And did you only do that when you first started or throughout? Thank you. Love your channel. Yes, thank you. By the way, guys, if you guys are getting value from this, make sure if you're not subscribed that you subscribe. If you could hit the thumbs up, that is awesome. That really helps us all out. And I think it brings in just an incredible community of people that are interested in this type, right? They either turn you on, they either turn you up or they turn you off when it comes to content. So if people are interested in this, they're probably like-minded, and then they show up to these shows, and then you get to communicate, and then you get to network, and then you get to do deals together. So boom, that is my long ask to hit that thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any content. Driving for Dollars always works. I mean, Driving for Dollars was my first 50 deals. That's it. That's all I did. It truly was my first $1 million because I was averaging that once I started figuring it out and started actually selling the deals to a lot of buyers as opposed to just a few buyers. I was able to make 24,000 a deal as opposed to 12. And so, we've closed a tremendous amount of Driving for Dollars deals. They just take longer. Not everybody's ready to go right now. But the beautiful thing about the Driving for Dollars list is 90%, maybe more of those property owners don't have the budget to fix it up. So they got to sell it for cash. Okay. Awesome. Crispy Bacon, $100 bills, baby. Do you wholesale seller finance deals? How do you quickly run the numbers on the phone when you realize cash doesn't work? Ooh, we're getting into it now. Hey, Matt. Yeah. Put me over here, please. Thank you, sir. Crispy Bacon. I'm going to give you the easiest way to understand seller finance deals. You get these deals. You can assign them. You can keep them. And that's it. But they're going to be smoking deals. 3 numbers. I just went over this in our support call yesterday with the Rhino Tribe. 5, 10, 50. Okay. You want to put 5% down payment or less. I like it 0. but 0 to 5% down payment, right? Now, most people want 20% or 30% or 40% or something ridiculous. These are not people that will ever do business with you. 0 to 5% down, all right? 10, this is years before balloon. What is a balloon? A balloon is at 10 years, you have to pay off the loan or the note that the owner has on this property, right? So they become the bank, and banks give you notes. That's the security instrument that they have for lending money. So you want 10 years in this market. You don't want the, oh, yeah, I'll do seller finance for 3 years. No. I'll do it for 5 years. No. 10 years is the minimum. You want that property to appreciate as much as possible so that you can really do an incredible cash out, refi, or just have enough room in there to where you can sell it if you need to, right? And then 50 is, this is 50%. This is of current rents is your monthly payment. Okay? If rent is $2,000 a month, you can tell the seller, I can give you $1,000 a month. Because how do owners think about things? They go, how much are you giving me now? When are you going to pay off the rest of it? And how much am I making a month? Okay? And I don't care what interest rate they want. I really don't. As long as it is under $1,000. They could be like, I want 10% interest. Great. That just means it's amortized over 150 years. Right? Truly. It doesn't matter because we're a payment society. Let's be real here. We're a payment society. You need to have this room. And the conversation you have with the sellers, listen, I can't just cash flow on this thing, a couple $100. This is going to be a nightmare for you and for me. Because I know that every year I got to put $3,000 into this house just for maintenance. I know every 5 years there's going to be an $8,000 to $10,000 expense, whether it is a boiler or whether it is an air conditioner unit or whether it is a roof or whether it is appliances or whatever else. Something mechanical is going to happen in this property. Properties are expensive. You want that you want that multi-million-dollar mansion. Guess what? That's going to cost you $100,000 a year just in upkeep. I'm just telling you right now. My average, I have a 4,100 square foot house. I would say just for maintenance, it's at least $12,000 a year. That's just for like stuff that breaks and needs to be fixed and appliances and this type of thing. That's not even the $500 a month that I have on a landscaper, the $300 a month on the house cleaner, all this other stuff. Like, remember that as you're making money. Don't go too crazy with the size house you want to buy too early. Unless you have a bunch of kids like Jerry Norton, then go buy 11,000 square feet or whatever. But we're a payment society. The conversation you have with that seller is, hey, listen, if I'm here, I know that I can fulfill on this loan. I know that the renter is going to take care of my maintenance of the major items, and I'm able to put $1,000 in your pocket every single month, and I'll pay you off in 10 years if you want. I'll go longer if you want to go, but those are this is the strategies. In the chat, let me know if this makes sense. Is this helpful? Is this helpful here? Awesome. Okay, let's get back to this. There we go. Let's look at, I like this. All right, let's look at estimating repairs and renovations. Guys, light remodels, $15 to $20 a square foot. What's light remodel? Carpet and paint. Carpet and paint, $15 to $20 a square foot. Medium remodels, $25 to $30. Heavy remodels, $40 to $50 a square foot. Now, add 20% to homes with an ARV greater than 500,000. If the property is you're going to put this property on the market, or somebody's going to put this property on the market over $500,000, add 20% to this price per square foot, because appliances cost more, fixtures cost more, flooring costs more, baseboards cost more, solid Core doors cost more. Design elements cost more. Okay. And then add 10K for any big items like air conditioning unit, plumbing, electrical, roof, pools, etc. If you need to resurface a pool, any of those things, add 10K on top of it. So, it's just carpet and paste, 15 to 20. Now listen, in this market, if it's original condition, you have to gut the whole thing. You're not just, it's livable. If it just had carpet and paint, it'd be clean, it'd be perfect. People would love it. Nope. Won't sell. Will not sell in this market. Will not sell. I would say you're probably 25. I would run your numbers 25 to 30 per square foot every time. And if it's a property that's above 500, you're going to be in that 40, 50 bucks a square foot. Okay. That was amazing. Thanks for everything you do to help. I'm calling back a lead I have with Section 8 tenants and see if he'll do seller financing. Awesome. Go get him. Go get him, Crispy. Barry, 3426. Which marketing phase is very convenient to use in 2025 without wasting so much time, energy, and money? I don't want to hear cold calling. It sucks. Well, what's your budget? If you have $2,000 or more, then you can start getting inbound leads, Barry. If you don't have $2,000 or more, embrace the suck, bro. Embrace the suck. It's either that or door knocking. Or, listen, you don't have to just do cold calls to property owners. I think this is a great market, again, to go after on-market properties, to make offers on the MLS, to talk to real estate agents, to make offers on pending deals, properties that are already under contract. Boom. Thank you, Fearless. Yeah, listen. Cold calling sucks. Door knocking sucks. It really does. I mean, I tricked myself into doing it all the time because I got so good at it. It was like, okay, this is a game. I'm going to play it. I don't have money. What's my options? I can go after on-market deals and make half as much, or I could go to off-market deals and it's going to just, it's going to be rough. I'm going to get a lot of rejection. I hated rejection. Hated it. Couldn't handle it. We all have it. We all have that part, that seed in our brain, that like peach seed size part of our brain that is super worried about getting kicked out of the tribe, right? And then you just die, and that's what happens with rejection. That's that part of our brain that rejection hits that affects us so much. But then I was broke. So I don't have any other options. I have a baby. I have a special needs son that needed a lot of care. I was a single dad. My son's mother, the baby mama, disappeared. Couldn't handle it. Was going through her things. And so I had to cold call and door knock, put Seamus, my oldest, in daycare. He kept getting ear infections. It was a mess. I had to find babysitters. I had to do all these things. He wasn't developing normally, and I'm pounding the phones. I'm doing, like, compared to other things, compared to like real life, compared to like a special needs kid, cold calling felt a lot easier. But before that, before I had kids and before all these other things, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm too good for this. I don't want to get rejected. I'll just do whatever I can to raise funds to get people to pay for my marketing and unclose deals, which I did until the market crashed. And then I have a kid in 2011, and then that progresses and all these things. And so it's a perspective thing, I think. It might suck, but it's profitable. You know what I mean? It doesn't suck? Getting $42K wired into my account. Truly. Getting $10K, $8K. I remember getting $2,000 in 2012, and I was like, oh my gosh, my head is above water. Okay, I can make this happen. Living with friends, right? Actually, I moved in with my sister because I had Seamus. I moved in with my little sister. and rented a room from her, making cold calls at the real estate office and at the kitchen table and in the kitchen on the countertop, because I liked standing, and I would open up all the windows and I would go through it. What else? I had nothing else, no other options. And so it taught me a lot. So it's like one of those things where you're either having fun in the moment or you look back fondly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything that I look back fondly and it was just super easy. It's all the stuff that was really, really hard. It was all the stuff that really challenged me. It was all the stuff that really, I was on one path and I could stay in that path and be super mediocre, or I could go on this path and do something extraordinary. Extraordinary people don't do ordinary things. That's the extra part. That's the extra part of extraordinary. And I know that that's trite or cliche or whatever you want to call it, but it is what it is. So, yeah. Other than Deal Machine for driving for dollars, anything else you'd recommend? Small monthly budget. I think Offer Gun. I would see what they offer. You know, if you're going to go for MLS deals, I mean, with those, you have to have more earnest money. So if you don't have, you'd probably have to have a money partner there. If you go off market, I would just do Deal Machine. I mean, bro, you could go. I did it. There was no Deal Machine when I started. I would go with a pad of paper and True People Search or True People Finder, and you can get all the free phone numbers you want. And just do it. You know, stay real low budget. Stay real, like, just in the grind, in the dirt. Talk to a tremendous amount of people, get a tremendous amount of rejection. I'm telling you, the people that get the most rejection have the most success in any business, because they don't stop. They just don't stop. They outwork all the self-doubts, as Alex Hormozy instructs us. Outwork your self-doubts. You have to suck it up until it don't suck. That's right. I'm learning that cold calling is a must for later on when I decide to hire an acquisition manager. Yeah. It's for everything. Tim, when door knocking, do you try to avoid areas with a lot of Spanish speaking families? No. Usually there's some way to communicate, either through an app or whatever. No, I think everybody needs help. So I mean, I would test it if you're just not getting anywhere, or they don't trust you for whatever reason. Then, you know, switch it up. But that never bothered me. Never bothered me. Let me give you one more here, guys, in the training, and then we'll sign off here, unless there's any more questions that we can get through. But lead follow-up. One of the toughest parts about this business is the lead follow-up, because most sellers won't be ready right away unless they're PPC leads. TalkToPeople.com if you want the best PPC leads. TalkToPeople.com. But that, because most sellers aren't ready right away, follow-up is critical. 90% of your deals are going to be from follow-up. Okay. And then sort them, just like we talked about earlier. Hot, warm, cold. Hot, they want to sell in the next 30 days, and you're following up with them every single day until they tell you to stop. Warm, they want to sell in the next 30 to 90 days. You want to follow up with them weekly. And cold, they want to sell in 90 days plus, follow up with them monthly, and for the most part, get rid of them. And be pleasantly persistent and keep it simple. Call them, leave a voicemail, text them, plant seeds. 80% of follow-up is leaving voicemails and text messages. Truly. 80%. It's just planting seeds. And then all of a sudden they reach out and boom, it's they're ready to go. And it's awesome. Yeah. Michael must be in Phoenix here. Thank you, sir. Still timid. Got to go do it in this 105-degree heat. I did. I'll tell you what. You get more tan. I don't know. At least I got a little bit tan. I wasn't totally pale as I am now. And I was a little, in great shape. So I would just wear a polo, like a golf polo, and just get out in the streets and do what you need to do. All right. Awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah. Nice tan. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining. This show went by fast. This was 100 minutes. This went by super, super, super fast. Thank you guys for joining. If you've not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. If you got value, hit that thumbs up button. Luke's gone. He's sick today. Alejandra's working from home. She's going to Italy soon. Matt's here. Anton's here. Bo, you want to say goodbye to everybody? Bo's here. Bo's on summer break, so you'll see him on these Wednesday shows. On behalf of all of us, we love you. We want you to go out and have just tremendous amount of success, massive imperfect action. Remember, keep your house clean, protect your health, and increase your value to the world. You'll live a fantastic life. I'll see you next week, guys. Love you.